Have you ever noticed that some people seem to find opportunities everywhere they go, while others, no matter how hard they work, keep chasing success but never seem to move forward? Is it luck? Is it fate? Or is there something invisible influencing every decision you make? What if the biggest obstacle standing between you and the life you want isn't money? Isn't the economy? Isn't other people? But your own mind? Most people never realize it. Because we've been taught to believe that prosperity comes only from working harder. But there's one question almost no one asks. Why can two people with the same job, the same age, and even the same opportunities end up with completely different results? The answer might completely change the way you see your own life. Today, I'm going to share a simple method that can transform the way you think, respond to challenges, and recognize opportunities. This isn't magic. It's not a promise of overnight wealth. It's a shift in perspective. And when your perspective changes, your decisions begin to change. And when your decisions change, the direction of your entire life can begin to change as well. But there's one important detail that almost everyone overlooks. And that's exactly what we're about to uncover. Imagine that your mind works like the operating system of a computer. The computer can be modern. It can be fast. It can have the latest technology. But if the operating system is filled with errors, everything eventually starts to break down. The exact same thing happens with our minds. From the time we're children, we hear phrases like, "Money is hard to earn. If you're born poor, you'll die poor. Rich people only care about money. You have to suffer to succeed." Even when these statements seem harmless, they become deeply stored in our minds. And without even realizing it, we begin making decisions based on them. Not because we want to, but because we've accepted them as truth. That's why so many people unknowingly sabotage incredible opportunities. They avoid challenges. They're afraid of growth. They keep postponing important goals. They spend impulsively. Or they simply convince themselves, "Success isn't meant for someone like me." Most of this happens on autopilot. As if an invisible force were quietly steering the direction of our lives. But here's the good news. Anything that has been learned can also be unlearned and replaced. And that's where real transformation begins. But before we get there, there's one mistake that causes thousands of people to give up before they ever notice any real progress. And chances are, you've made that mistake too. We live in a world that demands speed. Everyone wants immediate results. They want to plant today and harvest tomorrow. When that doesn't happen, most people assume that nothing works. But think about this for a moment. If it takes years for a tree to grow, why would you expect a deep transformation of the mind to happen in just a few minutes? It doesn't make sense. During the first days of any real transformation, the biggest changes happen on the inside. You begin to notice your own thoughts. You recognize old patterns. You become aware of your fears. You uncover beliefs you've never questioned before. And that's already a major breakthrough. Because you can't change what you can't see. Real transformation begins the moment you stop believing every thought that crosses your mind. And start observing it instead. That's when you stop being a prisoner of your thoughts. And begin to take control of them. But there's one incredibly simple practice that can accelerate this process. The surprising part? Very few people know how to use it the right way. There's a principle that very few people truly understand. Your brain pays attention to what you repeat consistently. Think about the last time you decided to buy a car in a specific color. Before making that decision, you barely noticed that model on the road. But suddenly, it seemed like it was everywhere. The truth is, those cars had always been there. The only thing that changed was your focus. Your mind began treating that information as important. The same principle applies to prosperity. When you constantly feed your mind with worry, fear, and scarcity, your brain spends the entire day looking for evidence to support those emotions. But the moment you begin directing your attention toward possibilities, your mind starts searching for something completely different. You notice people you once overlooked. You recognize opportunities hidden in everyday situations. Ideas begin to appear that previously went unnoticed. And this doesn't happen because the world suddenly changed overnight. It happens because you changed the way you look at the world. There's a simple daily practice that can strengthen this new mindset. Every morning, before you begin your day, set aside just a few minutes of complete silence. Take a deep breath. Allow your mind to settle. Then calmly say to yourself, "Today, I choose to see opportunities where I once saw limitations. My mind is open to learning, growing, and making wise decisions." Don't say it like a robot. Think about what the words actually mean. Feel every sentence. Allow your mind to absorb that intention. It may seem incredibly simple, but small actions, repeated consistently over time, create extraordinary transformations. And this is exactly where most people give up. Because they expect immediate results. But there's an important reason why real change doesn't happen overnight. Imagine planting a seed. For days, nothing appears above the surface. Anyone looking from the outside would assume that nothing is happening. But beneath the ground, the roots are growing, becoming stronger, building the foundation that will one day support a mighty tree. The transformation of the mind works the very same way. At first, you may not notice any financial changes. No major opportunities. No extraordinary breakthroughs. But something begins to change within you. You become less anxious. You start thinking before reacting. You stop making impulsive decisions. You begin to recognize habits that have been draining your energy. And most importantly, you start believing that a better future is actually possible. At first, this change may seem small, but it completely transforms the choices you make. A confident person communicates differently, negotiates differently, learns differently, works differently. And people who act differently inevitably begin to achieve different results. That's why every lasting transformation begins in the invisible. Long before it becomes visible. There is just one problem. Your old programming doesn't disappear without a fight. It tries to pull you back into familiar patterns. Back into old fears. Back into old habits. And it's at this exact moment that so many people give up. Have you ever noticed that there's a voice inside your head saying things like, "This isn't going to work. You started too late. Other people can do it, but you can't. Why even bother trying?" That voice didn't appear overnight. It was built over years. Through painful experiences, criticism, failures, comparisons, and even the words other people spoke over your life. The problem is that after listening to that voice for so long, it starts to sound like the truth. But it isn't. It's simply repeating what you've been conditioned to believe. And anything that has been conditioned can be reconditioned. The next time those thoughts appear, pause for a moment. Don't fight them. Don't try to force them away. Instead, ask yourself one simple question. Is this thought empowering me, or limiting me? That single question interrupts the autopilot. You stop reacting automatically. And start making conscious choices. Because there's a huge difference between having a thought and believing it. Not every thought deserves your trust. Not every emotion deserves to control your decisions. The people who truly transform their lives understand this. They didn't eliminate fear. They simply learned how to move forward despite it. And there's one simple challenge that can help you develop this habit day by day. That's exactly what we're going to explore next. There's a reason why so many people begin new projects full of excitement, only to give up completely a few days later. It's not because they lack intelligence. It's not because they lack ability. It's because the mind loves what is familiar. Even when what's familiar is causing pain, it would rather stay in its comfort zone than face the uncertainty that comes with change. That's why every meaningful transformation requires repetition. Not to convince the world, but to convince yourself. So I'd like to challenge you. For the next 21 days, set aside just 5 minutes of your day. 5 minutes. Nothing more. During that time, eliminate every distraction. Take a slow, deep breath. Close your eyes for a few moments. Then ask yourself this powerful question. Who do I need to become to create the life I truly want? Notice that the question isn't, how can I make more money? Or, when will my life finally change? The question is about identity. Because lasting results always follow a stronger identity. If you continue being the same person, making the same decisions, reacting in the same ways, you'll likely continue getting the same results. But when your identity begins to evolve, your actions naturally begin to change as well. After asking yourself that question, write down one small action you can take that day. It could be sending out a resume, calling a potential client, studying for 30 minutes, organizing your finances, reading a few pages of a book, learning a new skill. The size of the action doesn't matter. What matters is creating momentum. Because successful people don't wait until they feel motivated. They learn to take action, even before motivation shows up. And something remarkable happens when you do this. Every small win sends a quiet message to your mind. It begins to whisper, maybe I really can do this. Confidence doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is built through repeated action. The more you act, the more confidence you gain. And the more confidence you gain, the more opportunities you'll have the courage to pursue. It's a cycle that begins working in your favor. But there's still one final ingredient that makes all the difference. Without it, even the best strategies eventually lose their power. When people hear the word gratitude, many think it simply means saying, thank you. But genuine gratitude goes far beyond words. It changes the way you see what you already have. Think about it for a moment. If someone spent the entire day complaining about their life, would you feel inspired to help them? Probably not. Now imagine someone who faces challenges every day, yet still chooses to appreciate every small victory. That person radiates hope. They radiate confidence. And naturally, they attract people who want to walk alongside them. That's exactly what gratitude does within us. It shifts our focus away from what's missing and toward what is already present. This doesn't mean ignoring your problems. And it certainly doesn't mean pretending that everything is perfect. It means recognizing that you already have a foundation to build upon. You have your health. You have knowledge. You have life experience. You have lessons you've learned. And every new sunrise brings another opportunity to begin again. The moment you start recognizing these everyday blessings, your mind stops operating from a place of constant scarcity. Instead, it begins searching for possibilities. And people who see possibilities make very different decisions from those who see only obstacles. That's why prosperity doesn't begin in your bank account. It begins with the way you interpret your life. And when that interpretation changes, everything else begins to change with it. But before we finish, there's one final thought that may be the most important lesson of all. In a few minutes, you're going to close this video. And most likely, one of two things will happen. The first, you'll simply go back to your daily routine. Forget everything you've heard today. And a few months from now, You'll still be exactly where you are today. The second possibility is that you decide this moment marks the beginning of a new way of thinking. Not because someone promised instant success, but because you've realized that lasting transformation begins with small decisions repeated every single day. No meaningful change happens overnight. But no meaningful change ever happens without taking the first step. Maybe your first step is organizing your finances. Maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's letting go of a limiting belief you've carried for years. Or maybe, for the first time in a long time, you choose to believe that you are capable of creating a different future. True prosperity doesn't belong only to those who earn more money. It belongs to those who develop discipline, clarity, courage, and consistency. Because money can be lost. Opportunities can disappear. But a prepared mind will always find new paths forward. So today, make a commitment. Not to me. Not to this channel. But to yourself. Choose one small action that you can take today. Not tomorrow. Today. Because the future you dream about begins with the seemingly small decisions you make right now. If this message resonated with you, leave one simple comment below. Today, I choose to grow. Let those words become a public commitment to the person you've decided to become. If this video inspired you, don't forget to like it. Your support helps YouTube recommend this message to more people who may need to hear it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because every week we share powerful content designed to strengthen your mindset, build emotional resilience, and help you create a life filled with purpose, balance, and lasting prosperity. And always remember, your life begins to change the moment your way of thinking begins to change. And perhaps that moment began today. If this message resonated with you, don't just watch and move on. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future content that can help you transform your mindset and your life. And most importantly, comment below. Today, I choose to grow. Let this be your public commitment to change.